change in the industry with the newcomers being more and more important. So we thought that if we want to keep on growing the company, we had two solutions: either raise funds or find a company that could help us grow the business. And we found Veltra, a company which is doing the same job as Expedia, mainly on the in Japan. So for outbound travelers going to everywhere in the world, top destinations like the US, Hawaii, Guam, Asia, and Europe. They are very strong everywhere in the world. And Veltra purchased City Discovery in February 2016, and so we have been working with them since then to help them expand the business more globally. And Veltra is a company that has been created in the 90s. So it's an early player in the travel industry and in the tour activities business, and they are doing really very well. It's almost 1 million bookings a year. It's a group of 225 people, split between Tokyo, Malaysia, Philippines, Europe, where we have offices in London, Paris, and Amsterdam, and we have as well offices in the US, and we are expanding in Korea next year.
It's amazing. That's just so you're completely global, and that allows you to compete kind of more rigorously with the larger people. That makes sense. So when you were walking back when you decided to go for the acquisition instead of raising more funds, it's totally a different approach, but a lot of startups face that same situation, whether they're a supplier and a tourist supplier or anything. It's either I need money to grow, to compete, or I need someone to help me. Why did you go acquisition? Like just a good culture fit, or what did you find?
Yes, I think that there were really good synergies between the two companies. We could make synergies in terms of having global sales department, and as well for the data entry team. So we could really make this profitable for both companies, and we thought that it was a very big company already. So they bought a smaller company, but City Discovery has been doing business for more than 10 years. But we found that in terms of synergies, it was good. Another interesting thing is that there was a very good philosophy as well with Veltra. We like the people as well there, and they have a very different approach to the market. They are everybody will say the same, but they are very customer centric. Mm-hmm. But the reason why they are customer centric is that the level of expectations on the Japanese market is very high, is higher than in any other countries. And so what we thought is that if we can put this level of expectation in other markets, I think that this would be very successful. And we remain on a curated model. We don't want to become a marketplace because we think that, first of all, it doesn't make sense to add 100,000 activities worldwide if you're not able to sell them. So marketplace comes with traffic, and of course companies like Viator or Expedia, they have those kind of traffic. We don't have the same amount of traffic, so we cannot afford as well to open 100,000 activities worldwide, and we have a very strong. It's very important to say as well that Discovery was not backed up with financials, and Veltra is still a privately owned company, as well, and making profits.
That's great. Yes, that's the way it should be, right? That's the best way, I think, always. It's the different strategy, though, right? Yeah. Technology has always been important to you, I imagine, as you've grown, but it's been many years. Yes. What was the tipping point for you guys to really go deeper into using technology and making sure that, things were bookable online, and, how did that process happen? Because you have been doing this for many years, and I imagine it wasn't like it is today.
No, it's true. It has changed a lot. We have been working very hardly to create a very good back office. Every companies have been doing a little bit the same, like Get Your Guide, Viator, and so we have done the same work. Our back office is very efficient, and what has been changing, I think, in the travel industry in terms of technology is the appearance of the supplier tech companies like Rezdy, Rezgo, Fair Harbor, Booking Bus. All those companies, I think, are helping as well address another challenge in the travel industry for tours and activities, which is the fragmentation of the market. So we have helped with that until a certain point. with the big destinations, big cities worldwide. But I think that those companies are will help us in the future as well to go a little bit deeper into the destinations, because we always look at the cost of adding a new supplier or as well maintaining this supplier on the website.
Does the technology, if it's helping you kind of onboard new suppliers, does that give you more time to assure the quality of those suppliers? Because I imagine that's also
Yes.
very tough, right? If you start putting 10,000 on, you need to make sure that they're good, right? That they're legitimate.
Yeah. And that's really key. I mean that when you look at a page, a tour page in Japanese or Chinese, you will see a very big difference with a tour in English or Italian or French, because those customers, they really want to have a lot of detail about the tour. They want to know what they're going to do at 8 o'clock, at 9 o'clock, 11, 12. I mean, the whole journey has to be written, because there is a barrier of cultural barrier and a language barrier as well that makes it very important for them to, when they book, to trust the information that is on the website. And this is very important for those countries. For the APAC market, this is something that needs to be well done.
So how do you address that? I mean, that's one of the most fascinating topics in travel to me is, when you have a global company and every culture has different expectations for things like images, but also the copy and how you present a tour is different. So you can't just copy one tour and put it into 12 languages because it might make no sense. So how do you address localizing that content?
So that's indeed a big challenge, and I think we have been doing this mistake with City Discovery in the past, trying to just translate into 16 languages. So now what we do is we focus on specific markets. So we focus on 8 languages, and we have people inside the company who are really helping us with that part. And what we do as well is that we have destination specialists who really know the destination, and they contract with the suppliers. But beside every destination specialist, we have a marketing person who is supposed to know the market and know the expectations. And those persons, it's usually sales and marketing are together, but we have split sales and marketing in 2 separate functions. And the marketing are looking at the product to see how this will match with the demand of the customers according to where we're going to sell the products.
And how regional are we speaking here? Am I a France specialist, or am I a region of the destination specialists and the marketers? How deep does it go?
So mainly the focus is on those 9 languages, and so we really try to focus on those languages.
But even French is spoken in many countries, right? So does that kind of split it off then? If I maybe speak French, but I don't know about a different area that speaks French, and you have a different expert maybe there, or is it kind of the idea that they try to understand across all areas that speak a language?
No, we try to.
It's complicated, right?
This is a big challenge.
Yeah.
It's a big challenge.
And I guess maybe some of the markets are smaller, maybe French Polynesia, or maybe there's no need to have a destination specialist if there's not much demand, there.
But we do have in total a team of almost 100 people. So they are split between the different regions, and they are traveling quite a lot. And we spend a lot of time with the suppliers as well. So let's say 80% of the time that we take for those teams are on existing suppliers, and only 20% is to acquire new suppliers.
So 80% on existing customers.
Yes, so we spend a lot of time with them.
It's usually the opposite, I think, right?
Yeah,
for many
sure.
companies, they forget about the existing customers as if they were guaranteed, and they just kind of leave them be.
Yes.
For suppliers, I think that's a good value proposition, right? Because it's hard to be a supplier. I mean, tourism activities is difficult.
Yeah, indeed. Yes.
And do you get to then help them not only sell more stuff or sell more tours, but then also maybe how to use technology better and all that? Is that a process?
Yes, indeed. But what we do a lot with the suppliers is work on the product side. So we tend to help them as well add something specific to a product, like sometimes change a little bit the itineraries, or when we sell restaurants, for example, and we set menus for the customers, then we will work on the menu with them according to the taste of the travelers. So those are the kinds of personalization of tours that we are doing. And what we do as well is that we combine different products together and make our own products as well. So we do create as well our own, and we try to be as unique as possible, if possible.
Well, when you
possible.
combine it like that, that's pretty unique, right? Because
Yeah.
you can craft according to a demographic you might see.
Exactly, and what we do as well is, in terms of price and promotions, we run very specific promotions. And within this combination of tours as well, we manage to be always, not always, but most of the time lower than our competitors.
Amazing. And do you accomplish that with scale to get the price down? You know, to keep that.
No, it's like it's a work that we do with the supplier, and in terms of commission as well, we understand that there is always a cost, you know, on the supplier side, and so we are not aggressively pushing for higher commission. What we do is really work with them to make them understand that we need them to sell them. And so, for example, we are running a promotion which are rebates for reviews. And so we offer, let's say, at the beginning of a relationship, 20 tours to our customers in exchange of a review on the site. This is helping as well make the product knowledgeable on the market, and this helps the sales in the future. But we do a lot of marketing, but on the product with the suppliers.
And how do you understand then the customer, that the suppliers, you know, the travelers, I guess, that must also be very important, because you have to help the suppliers craft the right experience for the right person.
Yes.
With the destination specialist, kind of understand if, you know, I'm a French alpine tourist, I like, you know, this type of wine. I don't know, that's a bad example, but is that how that works?
Yes, but this comes from the marketing team. So
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
So it's the opposite.
Exactly.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yes.
And does that make it a complicated venture to keep track of traveler behaviors for so many different places? You know, or you get pretty good at it, I imagine.
No,
the marketers
yes.
start to understand their people.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, and actually, the KPIs for our companies are very interesting. I mean, we follow the complaint ratio, the NPS. So we have implemented the NPS, the Net Promoting Score,
Yep.
and we are quite good at it. And the reviews are giving us a very interesting feedback. But in terms of complaint ratio, I think we are at 0.36%. So
Is
under
that global?
1%
Across the whole company?
Yeah,
Wow.
and we want to do it at 0. So.
Oh, who wouldn't, right? But that's a great goal to have.
But already this amount is quite interesting. It shows that they are very, very happy customers.
And the NPS, at what point in the journey is that post-journey? You do an NPS kind of thing?
Yes, exactly.
When did you start doing that?
I think almost 1 year ago.
New, right?
Yeah. It's
how's that going? It's
good.
fascinating. I think it's such a
Yeah.
useful tool. I really like it.
Yeah, it's very interesting. No, it's good.
And what do you do with that data? Is it kind of helping the tour, kind of suppliers, hey, this is not working, or maybe catching a supplier that's, you know, used to be 9 and now it's 7, and now you have to go look?
Yes, indeed, and actually there is this policy with Veltra, that as soon as there are like a few problems with a tour, we will of course discuss with the supplier. But if we cannot manage to resolve the problem, we'll just stop the relationship with the supplier.
As you should, right? I mean, you got to protect yourself as well, too.
Yes, exactly.
That's great. Well, this is really interesting. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank
I
you
love
very
this.
much.
There's so many questions I keep asking always. So have a good rest of the conference.
Thank you very much.
You.
Thank you.